Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on Supergirl Season 3, and today we're going to be doing a video on the Mon-El and Imra theory. So we're going to be extending on my last video because a fan named Rachel has sent me a short essay which was about 3 pages long detailing why this theory could be true. So we're going to be going through her points because she does make some really great points, and I think with all this evidence that Rachel has presented to me, I think all of this stuff is very high in chance that it actually might turn out to be like this in the show. So all credit to her. Obviously this is an extension from what I've talked about in the past, so I'm going to be giving a bit of my own input into her thoughts. So hopefully you do go on to enjoy the video, and if you do, please be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any Supergirl videos. And also, if you guys have any theories that you want to send in, you can email me or you can tweet at me at the DCTV show on Twitter, and I will have all my details for contact in the description below. But we're going to be going through this bit by bit, and so we're going to go over the assumptions that Rachel has actually made. So the assumptions are as follows. The Legion has come back intentionally, contrary to what Mon-El and Imra have actually said, and it is related to Reign and what she will do in the future to Supergirl. Mon-El and Imra have already impacted the timeline in some sort of capacity due to their interactions in the past with Kara and the DEO and everyone around, and Mon-El and Imra are aware of this. So we know Imra's a telepath, but also we haven't been told that, so we can assume that she's a telepath and she can telepathically communicate with Mon-El and anyone else. And we're not sure about Kara, but definitely she can do that to humans. So Imra is a good character, and if she is deceiving Kara, it is in service of a larger goal, and if she is manipulating Mon-El, it is with his consent. Or another assumption that I made myself is that maybe she's manipulating him forcefully. That's still a chance on the manipulation standpoint. So those 5 assumptions could be true, and they seem to be more than likely to actually be true, but Rachel's supporting observations are Mon-El and Imra are consistently engaging in public displays of affection, so PDAs, despite the fact that it's negatively impacting Kara. So going on from the assumptions, if the Legion has come back intently, they have a mission and they're still on their mission, and everything that they're doing, we can assume that it's all done on purpose and it's all part of the plan, it's all formulated. So with Imra, I feel like that's the only wild card. If she's telepathically doing it on purpose and without Mon-El's consent, I feel like that's not part of the plan, but we'll talk more about that later. But if Mon-El is consenting to the manipulation due to him not being able to get over Kara, and maybe his real mind can't display this public display of affection in front of Kara because it's obviously affecting Kara pretty harshly, as we've seen in the past few episodes. So maybe Imra's doing that in order to continue the mission so Mon-El doesn't screw up the mission. So that's an assumption that we have made that I've added on to her assumptions. But moving on, given that Mon-El has super hearing and Imra is telepathic, it's safe to conclude that Mon-El and Imra were aware that the PDA was negatively affecting Kara. And moving on to the next point, Mon-El and Imra were capable of avoiding the PDA in front of Kara and sparing her these moments, like at the bar scene where we saw them eating the ribs, which Mon-El actually mentioned earlier, so the memory would have clicked in Kara's mind seeing them eating ribs together. And in the bar scene, Imra had food on her face, and at this point we should recall that she's a telepath, and if Imra wanted to avoid that PDA, the public display of affection, she could have just mentally asked Mon-El which side of her face was dirty. So furthermore, advancing from this, Imra had to be aware of the impact of the ribs story, and yet she forced the words "all you can eat" out of Mon-El, and therefore I think it's safe to assume that the impact of this public display of affection on Kara's emotional health is intentional and mission relevant to what they're actually trying to achieve, because everything that has been said regarding when being around Mon-El and Imra has literally affected Kara straight on. So it feels like it's too much of a coincidence that all these occurrences are happening and have happened to Kara, or they will affect Kara in some way. So we haven't seen any other Mon-El or Imra interactions where Kara isn't watching. So when Kara's visiting the bar after collecting Win, it's entirely possible that Mon-El and Imra were actually aware that Kara was going to be going there due to their information. Say if they're coming back and this is part of their mission, they would know where she was going to be. And finally, if the writers wanted to establish that the PDA was normal behavior and that it hasn't been all planned out, all they had to do was show a single scene that didn't include Kara, because if you notice, every scene with PDA regarding Mon-El and Imra literally has Kara in it, and there hasn't been a scene where they're by themselves without Kara, and Kara has been there every time, so that makes it all the more awkward for her. So I feel like it's definitely done on purpose. And finally, there have only been 2 scenes when Kara has let her guard down and laughed with Mon-El, and both scenes have been interrupted by Imra. So when they were talking about the ribs and they were laughing on the balcony at the DEO, Imra came in and interrupted that, and also in the bar scene a similar occurrence happened there. But here are some strange occurrences. Consider after the fight when Mon-El and Imra see Kara lying in the bed nearly dead. Mon-El is beyond freaked out, you can see that by his emotions, and Imra casually says she'll be okay in not a scared way at all, as if she knows what was going to happen. And it feels like the ending to the episode with Imra and Mon-El in it. It seems a bit set up from Imra's standpoint, yet Mon-El kind of seemed a bit surprised and he was shocked because maybe he still has this sense of affection for Kara, and I'm sure all of this will play out in episode 10, so I'm not saying all of this theory is right, but the points that Rachel has covered are actually really relevant and they could definitely become true. I'm a high believer in this theory that something else is going on behind the walls. And in conclusion, Rachel left a statement saying Imra and Mon-El's coupley actions in episode 9 were intentional and calculated to push Kara into a fight with Rain before Rain reached her full potential as the world killer to increase Kara's chance of survival. And this statement I think is definitely high up on the true list, because Samantha has only just found out that she's Rain and she's obviously not at her full power as of now, and she's not able to kill her, or she doesn't in turn ending up killing her. And considering that Mon-El and Imra and the Legion of Superheroes are from the future, they have details on what happened in the past, and I'm guessing that in the future something else happened to Kara, that she probably died. That's what most of us are actually assuming, that she's going to die, and that due to Mon-El and Imra coming back and speeding it up, that's our assumption, that this process was actually sped up in order to make Kara survive. And the fact that Mon-El and Imra are the ones who are going to be saving Kara with the pods, because otherwise if Mon-El's ship wasn't there, Kara would not be able to survive, considering the vast amount of damage, and no present day technology could actually save her. So that's a very big part of this theory, due to her not actually being able to survive if it wasn't for Mon-El's ship. So I can't thank Rachel enough for this massive essay, and I highly appreciate it, because it extends on my theory, and I think you've made all these relevant points, because this seems a lot more concrete than what I actually presented at first, because you extend on so many points, and obviously in the video I've added on some of my own points and I've extended on that. I truly think that this theory actually could be true. So anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys later.
It doesn't make us strong, it doesn't make us weak. Tongue tied to service like shot free.